Okay, this is possibly just going to be a short 15-minute winding up the full-on uncut interview with Ella, which was just so profound. And then I will go on to part 4, which is actually Abraham. So let's just find this final part of the interview with Ella. Here we go.
Sorry, Ella. Yeah, we have interruptions, so I just pray you're safe and everything's well. I'm sure you're used to being monitored and hounded, but yes, please carry on. Please carry on. Your parents safe, and also they were tricked.
Yes. In fact, before I'm going to explain a bit more about what happened then, I would like to come back to the conversation about what happens with the other children.
Okay.
And the other children of the cult, right? Who actually the children do not want to be in there, and Alisa and Gabriel were very clear about it. Children do not like it. They do not like sex. They hate violence. They don't like to be injected, and they mention their friends like Millie Cowell and James Upson and Sophie Harlequin. By the way, Sophie, who had not been mentioned in the interview, if you recall,
is this Sophie Dick?
Well, they're saying that the idea of plastic wheel has been taken from Sophie's iPad, and also the idea of touching. However, this girl never been questioned and never been investigated. In fact, none of the children been investigated. Not just that, I mean, there are plenty of evidence. For example, children are saying that all the children have tattoos as well as piercing. And there are quite detailed description of that. And again, now none of the children been investigated or questioned ever.
Interviewed, and none of the adults have been investigated, and nobody has presented for examination to see, to either clear their names or to for these marks that the children described and did pictures, very distinguishing marks. Nobody, you're right, the children haven't been interviewed, and the adults haven't been investigated, nor have they presented for examination or for interview.
Exactly, and those children are suffering and still trapped in the cult as we speak. And by the way, you've obviously heard about Leon Britton, right? Who's it's a lot of information about him being involved in this kind of activities. He actually has tattoo as well. I don't know if you heard about it. So I mean, we have to do something about it, and this is the reason we are now doing a lot of the interviews and getting all the information out for people to act and for people to also look around and notice what's going on in their own families around them as well. And now, coming back to your question about what happened with the parents. Yes, they were tricked to come to the UK, and the condition to see children was to go through Judge Puffley's judgment and to agree with this judgment. In other words, to make sure that my parents are accusing their own daughter, right? So and make sure that none of us will ever have access to the children. Right, and of course, my parents were were aware enough, and they could see through their ways, and so they left without seeing children. And in regards to we talked about that. We talked about that we are now preparing website as well. It's going to be official website for our case called hampsteadcoverup.com, and we're aiming to publish it towards this weekend. So
Tell me the name, say the name of it again.
hampsteadcoverup.com.
Cover Up, very good, very good. Hampsteadcoverup.com. We look forward to that. Also, for people, there have been 2 or 3 petitions up to 17,000 signatures, but they keep getting interference and taken down. But there's a petition at the moment asking for Judge Poffley to simply honour the residence order that was in place since 2011, because it was wrongly reported that this was a custody battle. There was no custody battle. You had custody since 2011, so we will put a link to the website. It's not here yet, but we will, maybe next week's chat connection, we'll have the website details and the link will be up for you. Also, there's a petition, Justice Anna Poffley, please honour the residence order to the mother since 2011. So we'll put those there as well. Hampstead Research Connection. So whatever anybody can do, this is not just, even though Gabriel and Elisa are obviously Ella's children, there's 18 more children that have been named and given to the police and no action taken. And what I think the point Ella's making is it doesn't even stop there. This is not a little isolated thing in Hampstead. This is something that as we talk each week, we hope that people will educate themselves so that they can just look and see, you know, what's going on at school, in church, in the community. We're just trying to raise awareness for all the children.
Exactly. And also what people could do if they feel like they would like to take some actions. For example, at the moment there is an appeal pending to appeal against Poffley's judgment. And also, we made a couple of complaints to IPCC, to independent police, to the police, and independent PS, which is internal complaint department of the police. And on top of it, we wrote to the commissioner of the Metropolitan Police, Colin Ho, as well as Theresa May. And by the way, we haven't got responses from those authorities at all. They keep quiet. And IPCC, of course, they trying to wiggle out of it. They refer the case back to the police, and we know that the police is corrupted. So that's what people can do. If someone feels like it, they can write to IPCC, to Theresa May, to the Court of Appeal as well. Putting them under pressure, therefore, for people to go through, for this case to be re-investigated properly, to be investigated, in fact, because it wasn't really investigated. And do whatever you can, get active, get proactive. We have to expose and put stop to this. To these crimes. It's just unimaginable crimes what's going on.
A society that doesn't protect its children is broken.
Right.
If a society does not protect the most vulnerable, then that society is broken. This is not just one little isolated incident. I was watching, the BBC are running a series at the moment about the Metropolitan Police, and so Bernard Hogan High was on talking and, telling his policemen to make sure you interact with the public and make sure you are, so I think it's very relevant. We're not saying every policeman is corrupt or every social worker is corrupt or even every judge, but the corruption is there and we need to expose it, and also it needs to stop. Everybody wants to live in a country where you can report to the police and to Kafkas and to go before legal people, and they will be honourable. So it's not unreasonable what we're asking. So I really, before we finish for this week, and I really appreciate it. I know it's Gabriel's birthday coming up. It's my birthday today. It's Gabriel's birthday in a few days.
Happy birthday.
Would you like, in the vague possibility that the children might see this, what would you say? Of course, you want to say happy birthday to your children, to Gabriel. I give it to you, Ella.
Yes, I mean, my children know. My children know that I'm doing everything possible and everything I can to get children back to to the family, to me, and for them to be out of the clutches of the cult. However, we realize that we can't do it on our own. We have to get support. I mean, it's only with the help of the public we're going to be able to return children. We fully realize this.
Absolutely.
Oh well, it's been an intense interview, and
thank you for that.
To join in preparation our raw ham soup, which is as people learn, this is an antidote to the mind control.
Yeah,
and this is what
the commitment that you both have to well-being, the research, the work you do is inspiring.
Sorry, we got disconnected again.
No, I just want to say the work you both do in the area of well-being, you've been.
Okay. Yeah, a little bit disconcerting there, but listen to the children. I keep saying listen to the children, and I keep bringing myself back to that. So I think that's kind of we got cut off again. Right, I'm going to upload a 53-minute chat next with Abraham, which I thought was very natural and very valuable, but Abraham felt too vulnerable, and that's where we fell out, unfortunately. But anyway, I've sat on it till now, and with the children being committed indefinitely to foster care, with no further hearings scheduled, I just feel like we've got nothing left to lose. Everything on the table, we've just got to throw everything at this. Prayers, actions, the good, the bad and the ugly. I believe the children. So look for the next one. I'll put all of these on a playlist, so if you watch them on YouTube as opposed to on social media, you'll just get them, they'll follow on, or you can watch them one at a time. It's a lot to digest, but I really recommend turning the telly off and doing some real research into what's going on around us. Thank you.